know, just to give everybody a quick introduction to Tina, she is an incredible divorce coach. So if you're going through that situation, it can be very stressful and very costly. Tina can help save you a ton of money on lawyer bills, but also on other costs because she helps you get the paperwork and everything else done that you need to get in there. And, you know, she works all over Canada, US, UK, Africa. So, you know, if you need help in that area, reach out. She's an incredible resource.
Thank you, John.
Come on, Tina, tell me more.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't understand what a divorce coach is, so I always tell them we understand what a wedding planner is. They're everything wedding from the cake to the venue, while I'm everything divorce from the thinking about it to the healing about it. And I am able to help you with the biggest costs if you come in before you start the divorce, because that helps me help you figure out what type of attorney you're going to need, because attorneys are not one size fits all and they can become quite pricey. The way that I work is not the same as the way a lawyer works, in the fact that you would pay a lawyer a retainer, and me, you pay a flat rate. And we work through this through either the month or the group of months that you work through until we can get as much done as we can. I focus my work towards men that are going through abusive type relationships, specifically financial abuse.
Annika, what did we hear from you before we start the topic of the day? And we'll go around the circle. What about you, Annika? Thank you, by the way, Tina.
You're welcome.
Annika.
Hi, I'm Dr. Annika from Sweden. I just got to know Peter a couple of weeks ago. I am, to start with, a medical doctor in family care. You know, the big thing, not the deep. And some years ago, I started to, I realized all the time, really, that stress is part of the thing that is making us ill in the world. So I started to study stress much more deeply. And when I saw what I saw in my patients and so on, and from my own story. So I am today helping stressed business leaders to calm down and become more efficient and have higher revenue and a happier workforce, because then it will dribble down. And I do speaking and mentoring workshops. Yeah, that's about it. And I live in Sweden and I do things online in wherever you speak Swedish or English.
Awesome.
A very much needed service.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Alan?
Hi, Peter. My business is in Hampshire in the UK, and we do property investment and development. We take unused or underused buildings that have passed their purpose, for example, empty office buildings or closed down care homes, and we'll convert them into high quality residential units. So that's essentially what we do to try and help solve the UK's housing crisis, and also provide good quality homes for people to live in.
Hey, Jeffrey Veale, nice to see you, my man. What about you?
Sorry guys, I've just been eating, trying to recover. Guys, I've got a digital marketing agency here in the Philippines, and do all things digital, like LinkedIn outreach, Facebook groups, build websites, email marketing, the whole 9 yards. It depends on what people need. It was probably, I'm fantastic, reach out to me. I'm only kidding.
Awesome.
Welcome to our little community. John?
Did Mark tell us about his work?
No, we don't want to hear about him.
Okay.
Come on, Mark. You want to talk about it, Bill?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, I apologize because we got a vicious rainstorm going here. So like Jeff, I may, get cut off. The internet may go a little bonky because it's thunder and lightning. But anyway, I am a small business cash flow strategist. I love to use direct response. That gentleman up there, well, when you're looking at it on the screen in the top left corner, has been one of my coaches and mentors and friends for many years. I love him dearly. And we both believe in direct response. So I'm really, really, really excited to hear everybody's take on this subject, because Alan, you talked about taking buildings and finding new uses for them. To me, that's what it's all about. So when I help a business through an audit, I'm looking for assets and resources that they're thinking no longer has any value or doesn't have as much value as it does, and showing them how to look at it with new eyes. And that's basically what I'm all about. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, no matter where you are in this big wide world. You know, I'm John D. Allen, Allen Small Business Coaching. Basically, what I do is I teach people to fall in love with their prospect's problem, not your solution or program. And the reason for it is they don't give a rat's ass about our solution or program. Their big thing is, can you help me solve my problem? What they want to know is, in this commoditized world where people don't believe other people and everything else, they want to know that you're authentic, that you can be trusted. And trust is the new currency. You don't have to know and like somebody to do business with them, but you have to trust them. And I had one guy tell me, well, you know, that might be true for you, but it's not true for me. I said to him, do you trust your mechanic? He said, well, I don't know. I said, you take your car to the dealership. Do you trust that they're going to get the work done on your vehicle? Well, yeah. Do you know that mechanic? No. You going to invite him over for supper? No. But you want to know that he's qualified to do the work, right? Yeah. So I said, you have to trust him. Well, I trust that he won't rip me off. I said, you live in a piss poor world, because if you think everybody's just out to rip you off, I feel real sorry for you. Your business is going nowhere fast. Well, it will. It'll go down because you got a crappy attitude. You didn't like my version. And I said to him, one of us has a problem, and it's not me. You still have your problem. I don't. You live in a crappy world. And if you keep your attitude, it's going to stay crappy. So you have a choice. You can do something about it, or you can live with the results you get. It's up to you. I don't care one way or the other. And he said, well, you sound kind of crash. No, I don't know you. You don't know me. I can't solve your problem. I'm in the problem solving business. So if you don't want to solve it, we got nothing more to talk about. And I ended the call. You know, that's short and sweet. We can't serve everybody or help everybody, but pick and choose who you're going to be around, because like they all say, you're the results of the 5 people you hang around with. That wasn't one person I wanted to hang around with. So pay attention to the people that you're hanging around with, because they will influence your attitude and your outcomes. Thanks, Peter.
Fine. Our topic for today, and welcome to the Small Business Breakthroughs community. The purpose
One second here, Peter.
Pretty simple.
1 second here, Peter. Peter, Tina doesn't know a damn thing about you.
My name is Beckenham. I'm 79 years of age, and I live in Thailand, and I'm not divorced. I'm a widower, and that's about as much as you need to know.
Me too. We share that in common.
God bless you. All righty.
Same to you.
The purpose of this community is to look at a whole range of topics that small businesses face day in and day out, and come up with ways to sort them out. That's what it is, right? And our topic for today, and maybe for the next few weeks, depending how much we get done, because we've got a 60-minute window, and that's it. Okay, when it's up, it's up. Our topic for today is lead generation. What's hot and what's not. In other words, what's working for you right now in lead generation, and what's not working for you now in lead generation. You want to start us off, Mark?
Oh, my goodness. I'd love to. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much going on here. you just mentioned, Tina made a comment. She said, you and I are, we have something in common. Listen, one of the universal things everybody on this talk and everybody who will ever listen to it, we all have a birthday. Why are you not acknowledging this for your customers? This is powerful. It's called recognition. They don't get it. Like, for instance, Alan, you sell a building to somebody and help them rehab it. How often do they get a postcard saying happy anniversary, meaning the day you close the deal with them? Most men, let's be honest, we're notorious for not keeping up with dates. We barely know our girlfriend or our wives' birthday, anniversary, our kids. This is horrible. Your business is waiting to erupt if you will start acknowledging your customers in a personal way. A mechanic can write a thing to John or send a text and say, hey, last blah, 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 blah date, you had a tune-up. How's your car go? What's going on with your car? Do you need anything? This is strictly a courtesy call. This type of, Peter, we have to know the date we formulated this powerful group, because that's our anniversary. And we can do some special things for the current and future members. So I don't want to overstress it. Jeff, you already know this because you're dealing with business people. You can have an anniversary date. You help them solve their email problem. The day they got their website up and got traffic to it, on and on and on and on. The point is, acknowledgement is very powerful. And Tina, unfortunately, what your specialty is, you're going to always be in business. So you got a ton of ways to reach out to your people. This is the anniversary. We resolved your divorce and finalized it. Or we did this, or we did whatever. The bottom line is acknowledgement.
Mark, that's so true. One of the things that I recommend for the people here in North America, at least, because I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but send out a Thanksgiving Day card. You know, and another one is a New Year's Day card. You know, there's not so many Christmas cards going out anymore, but when you look at it, everybody and their dogs had a Christmas card. What I recommend is after Christmas, you send out a New Year's card. It doesn't get caught up in the flow or anything else, but what it is people remember it. It's the same with the Thanksgiving card. And the other good thing is the good old thank you card. How many times do we ever send out thank you cards? You know, you go get your hair done, ladies. Guys, get a haircut. You know, whatever. Send out a thank you card. Years ago, I went to, before it was totally fashionable, to, I guess, a salon or whatever the hell you want to call it, and got my hair done. A haircut. You know, I didn't have much then, a little more than I have now. But anyways, I sent this lady a thank you card. She put it up at the door of her office going into her studio. I went back about 6 months later. The card was still there. I came through the door and she said, "You're the guy that sent me the thank you card." I'd only been there once before, but just from sending out that thank you card, that made all the difference in the world to them. You know, and Doc, you got a maid. How many people, I don't know about over in Sweden, but here in North America, doctors don't give a rat's ass once you've been in to see them once. You never hear from them. The only time you hear from them is if you go in to see them. They don't make house calls. They don't call to see how you're doing. They just personally don't give a damn. They're in the sickness business, and unless you're sick and seeing them, they don't talk to you. So you got a great opportunity to really expand and blow your business out of the water.
Well, it doesn't work that way in Sweden with the healthcare. My patients are not my personal thing. It's you don't do that. But and when I work with my stress management, I have clients, and I can do that for the clients, absolutely. But not in the healthcare. It doesn't work that way. I would be thrown out immediately if I started to send personal messages to my patients.
No, just a thought. And like I said, if the people you work with personally, you know, give them that little extra attention. You know, I've heard that There's some doctors in the US now that are starting to call their patients up to see how they're doing. I talked to one lady and she said she got a call from her doctor and her first thought was, oh my God, there's something terribly wrong. They're calling me. You know, the doctors never call. And the doc said, all I'm doing is calling to check up, see how you're doing. She said she couldn't believe it, that this doctor would actually take the time to do a follow-up call. You know, so hopefully, you know, things will start to switch in that area as well, because we're all in the people business. I don't care what industry you're in. We're all in the people business.
Yeah, a few things came to mind, but I was thinking about what Dr. Annika was saying about stress. And I had a conversation with a lady who I'm buying a closed down care home from in Bath in Somerset. And she's been acting very aggressively recently. She's been threatening to pull out of the transaction. And so rather than react aggressively back to her, I just basically talked to her and explained the situation that we're in, and explained that we were trying to fulfill what she actually wants to achieve. A little bit complicated, this transaction. I won't bore you with all the details, but I have to bring some in just to illustrate the point, because I'm trying to move forward and achieve a result on this transaction to fulfill our obligation, our desire to buy this property. I did something which was probably a little bit stupid. A few days ago, I posted a video on my own YouTube channel where I'd envisaged the successful conclusion of this purchase of this property. It was something that my mindset coach, 𝗩𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗁, some of you know her, she suggested that I do this because I was explaining how challenging this this particular transaction was. So I did, as Elena suggested, what I should have done is keep it unlisted. And I never imagined that in my wildest dreams, anyone living in a neighbouring property to where I was purchasing would pick up on this 1-minute video where I was just envisaging my success having been fulfilled. And lo and behold, somebody did it. So they clicked on this video and they saw that I'd stated that I'd purchased this particular building, which I haven't yet, but I'm hoping to. So I'm trying to move forward, and then I get an email out of the blue from one of a group of NIMBYs, sort of not in my backyard, who now want to get involved in the discussion. They want to know about the purpose that I'm going to put this building to. So this empty building will become 10 homes. So we're repurposing an empty building, 7,000 square foot, into 10 homes for one of a number of groups of people in society who need homes. And you'd never have imagined how one controversial video, which was my mistake of leaving up a visualization of me having achieved this this result, could cause so much furor, which all happened this morning. It just goes to show the power of social media, that is in relation to the question about lead generation. So if I'd wanted any sort of lead generation in that area, I know all I have to do is to post a video that's somewhat controversial for the residents in that area. And I'm getting the impression now that the building that I'm looking to acquire is surrounded by people who don't want any change.
You know, congratulations, Alan. You know, I think that is great. You're putting that video out, because you know what? When it was a care home for the other people, did the rest of the neighbors give a rat's ass?
No,
not likely.
no,
So
no.
they have their input right now to buying the building is slim and none. Tell them when you start making the payments, you can dictate who lives here. Otherwise,
well, exactly.
bend over, drop your doors, and tell them to kiss it, because it's none of their friggin' business. What
Sure.
you're in there to make their area better, pay more taxes, which helps improve their area. And, you know, if they don't like the improvements you're making, tell them to move.
Yeah, sure.
And here's a better idea. Tell them
Mhm.
not only will you move, we'll buy your house and we'll convert it into something useful.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
will you cause a whole lot of crap in that area? Sure you will. But
Yeah.
what happens is people realize you're there for to benefit the whole area. You're not
Sure.
there to throw a bunch of no goods in there and what have you. You're
Yeah,
there
yeah.
to help out. So make it a positive. I think it's great you put the video up and tell them as they go along. If in
Definitely.
doubt, refer back to the video.
Yeah, exactly. The building has been empty for 2 years. It's been a closed down care home for 2 years. So, you know, it's better that it's used for 10 flats rather than remain empty. Anyway,
Well, sure.
Yeah.
You know, if it's empty or gets run down, it causes the value in their neighborhood to go down.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So you want your property values to go up, then pay attention. You want them to go down,
Sure.
keep bitching.
Sure.
You know, let them know from there.
Well done, Alan. Well done. On the purpose of lead generation, and I'm going to come to you, Jeffrey, if you don't mind. On the purpose of that, one of the things that I have found extremely valuable within social media, which you were referring to, Alan, was direct messaging. And in particular, within direct messaging is group messaging within LinkedIn, right? To set up a group message within LinkedIn. And that has been an extremely valuable thing. On average, I speak to at least 10 new people a day who want to say hello to me. I don't reach out to them, they reach out to me. I do it via group messaging, all right? And it's a very powerful, cheap, in fact, it's inexpensive, okay? It doesn't cost anything to do it. And if you want to know how to set up the group messaging, go into our small business breakthrough group, and there's a little video in there that shows you how to do it. It's very simple and it's very powerful and it works. It really works well. And to me, in order to have people who, if I'm introducing Annika to Tina, for example, okay, and notice I said the word introducing and not giving them a referral, I'll introduce them to each other in a group chat within LinkedIn, because people are on LinkedIn for one specific purpose, and that is to network and get to know each other. So they're in the right frame of mind. That's the only advantage of the platform, right? That's what it is. And I'll introduce Annika to Tina there in a group chat. And what they do with themselves after that is really up to them. But because I've done that, I know I have a relationship with Tina, I have a relationship with Annika, for example. And I don't need to do anything more than that. They know who you are, and I then follow them and their posts and try to help and support them. And by giving that way, that's the way I get my lead generation. People just reach out to you. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? It's pretty darn simple. And so every week, if I don't get at least 15 new people reaching out to me every week, then I'm not doing the job properly. And if you've got 15 new people a week to talk to, and I mean 15 people who are in your niche market area, surely that would make a huge difference to your business. Surely it would. All right. And it hasn't cost anything. Anyway, that's food for thought. Jeffrey, what about you? You've been around for many, many years and all this stuff. What about you? Do you use AI, for example, in terms of lead generation?
I would say I use AI more than all of you put together on the screen, I would imagine. I'm on AI 8 hours a day. Yeah, AI is awesome. And funny thing about AI, sometimes you can I even put the wrong things in, not deliberately, I put the wrong thing in, and it comes up with a better solution than what I would have come up with. I make a mistake in some of the words I put up when I make what they call the prompt. And I'll just, inadvertently put the wrong word, and they'll send me down a different direction, which I'd never thought of. But the good thing about AI, you still need the brain behind it to tell AI what to do. So in my opinion, AI is only as good as what we are. Like garbage in, garbage out type of thing. But the things it can do just blows my mind. It's getting, quite frankly, I can't keep up with it. I've got to take the best of the best. But talking about leads, there's one of the things I tell people, I tell my people that want to listen, my potential clients, I tell them, what sort of music do you like? And they go, what do you mean? I said, do you like jazz? Do you like rock and roll? You like soul music? What do you like? And they said, oh, jazz. I said, congratulations, you've got 22% of the audience, right? Had you said rock and roll, you got 37%. What I mean by this is, whether you like it or not, guys, you've got to be across, not all, that doesn't be all, but as many channels as possible, picking up a bit from here, a bit from there. Because if you take a heavy metal person to a jazz concert, they won't be too happy. You know what I mean? So you got to talk to the right audience, and that what I mean by that is LinkedIn people are LinkedIn people. I got a lot of people on LinkedIn who refuse to come onto Facebook, and I know they're leaving a lot of money on the table. Same deal. I got people on Facebook who don't want to go on LinkedIn. Same thing. They're leaving a shitload of money on the table, right? Because each platform has got humans, right? My two go-to places for me at the moment are, I guess, LinkedIn and podcast groups. And I found, even I didn't want to go to LinkedIn for a while. I come onto LinkedIn about, give or take, 2 years ago. When I first came on, for the first 6 months, I don't think I got a like or a comment for 6 months. That was posting daily for 6 months. It was almost like I was the carpenter in a world full of professionals. Like, oh, I'm not going to, oh, he's only a carpenter. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a plastic surgeon. It felt a bit like that. But now I've cracked the code and I'm getting like, oh, hell, if you look down the information every day, I'm getting a hell of a lot of traction now that I wasn't getting before. And one of Mark touched on about birthdays. There's a part on LinkedIn where you can go in. I think it's got something like, I don't do it, my team does it, but something like anniversaries. And it's got the work anniversary, they've changed jobs in the first year. What's the other one? Birthdays, and there's one more. Might be started a new job. I forget what it is now. There's three different things though. And we've got something pretty awesome where we reach out to those people and start the conversation. Like the birthday one becomes, oh, thanks, Jeff. And then the conversation starts. And I know John and Peter have got this way of, we won't talk business just yet. We'll build up the relationship. It's just a matter of how many calls you're going to do that. I'm a bit more of a heavy hitter. I might go in a bit earlier than what they do. But, you know, we all get there in the end. But the radio station concept is very, very good. What's the other thing I do of late? I'm getting a lot of traction with my podcasts. I do it monthly. I do one called Stars on Spotlight. I do that for a month. Then I alternate and I do another one called 15 Minutes of Fame. And it's all about you. We get on there and we talk about how'd you start? What's been the most challenging part of your journey? What's something you've done you're proud of? You know, how can you grow your business? And just basically 8 or 9 different questions. And then we put that across 14 different social media channels, including YouTube, with all their social media links. And that way they get thousands of people exposure all over the world, and it's up to them what they do with it from that point forward. But what happens with that podcast, the concept behind it is I become like Dr. Phil. Hey, this Jeff guy, he knows a lot of interesting people, so I might reach out to him. So that I get the benefit as well, even by doing it for free. I get a benefit from it. Plus, the potential person on the podcast, not all the time, but a lot of the time, end up asking me, "What do you do, Jeff?" and tell me about what you do. And then we get a chance to subtly pitch them. And the last one that I come on to, also new, because I've never been in this field. I don't even like this industry. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm passionate about what I do, but I don't like the industry in general, because sometimes I tell my team, we'd be better off putting everything down, because I live in an area where there's 10 big condominiums. Each condominium's got 1,000 units. I say, we'd be better off going out door knocking and saying, hi, you want to buy my stuff? Hey, you want to buy my stuff? Hey, you want to, because it's a numbers game. If you knock on 25 doors, you'll probably get someone who buys your stuff. And that's what we're doing. That's what it feels like quite often. You know, you can help people, but they won't help themselves. I often tell people it's 18 people to build a house, the carpenter, the plumber, the painter, blah, blah, blah. And here you are trying to build a business by yourself. It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on the matter, guys. Podcasts are going to be awesome in 2025. So if you've got some knowledge, start a podcast and talk to people and get them on your podcast. And that will help spread the word about you and your services.
Tina does an excellent podcast, by the way.
Awesome.
Jeff was alluding to LinkedIn in terms of the notifications. How to find that is when you log into LinkedIn, go to My Network.
That's
Go
right.
to the tab My Network. And under the My Network, go to the one on the right-hand side, which is Growth. Click the Growth button, okay? And that'll bring up all the people. Who's having a birthday, who's having a belated birthday, who's having an anniversary, how long they've been there. LinkedIn does all the work for you. All the words are there, including the business that they're celebrating an anniversary in. It's all written out for you. All I'm suggesting you do is you add their name in there to personalize it, right? Add their name in there. And what I normally do is this. If for example, it says, oh, congratulations, Jeff. I see you just celebrated 50 years, okay, working with ABC, boom, boom, boom in Manila, in the Philippines, okay. I'll put underneath it, best wishes from a remote little Thai village, boom, okay. Takes me less than 5 seconds to do that. And I'll do 10 of those every day. I don't do them all, I do 10 of them every day. Then when I do a post, on the right-hand side of my screen, there are all the messages. And I then take those people who I've just messaged and I add them to each other, to introduce them to each other within a post, to use my post as a link to talk to each other, right? So if Tina is one of those people I just said anniversary to, or Annika was one I said a happy birthday thing to, or John, and I just grabbed 5 or 10 of those people and I tagged them in my post and introduced them to each other. And if I've got time, I even then spend a bit more time saying, by the way, in brackets, Annika is the lady you need to go to if you have a problem in any way, shape or form, if you're in leadership and you've got a stress problem. Or Tina, make sure you get on to Tina, for goodness sake. Don't go through this divorce business all on your own. And the sooner you bring it out in the open, the better, because otherwise it'll fester inside you. Or whatever the words are, right? I use my post as a bridge to help these people I just connected with via my network to get to know each other. And in doing that, as I said earlier to you, leads are not a problem. People keep talking to me, right? I'm just doing that. I'm just connecting in people all the time. That's all I'm ever doing. So I've never bought a lead in my life. Well, that's a lie. That is true. Years ago, I used to do that all the time, and it never worked. Okay, it never worked for me. I did a lot of solo ad marketing, for example, and oh, gracious me, I went down a hole in that. So, Annika, come on, what about you? What's working for you when it comes to getting potentially good new leads to talk to?
Well, that's what you're helping me with. I've been mostly getting my leads by referral. Yeah, that's about it. I have been on LinkedIn, but I have started to ramp it up and just got to know. I mean, I've been there for so long, and I never knew about this place where you actually find the birthdays and those things that you can do. And I started to do that, and people answer me nicely. Thank you so much. and so I'm a big learner for the moment. By referrals is my usually way.
I would suggest people go a step further. If you're relying on referrals only, be careful, because I mean, it's easy for me to send an email to Alan. Alan, I'd like you to meet Jeff Veale, okay? Jeff does X, Y, and Z, and Alan, you do A, B, and C. Good luck to both of you, right? Boom. It's much more powerful if I personally introduce you to Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I put my reputation on the line to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'm a slow learner, and I'm starting.
Oh, so you're heading in the right direction. It sounds good to me. What about you, Tina? What's working for you when it comes to generating potential leads for your business?
Well, being consistent with my posting has helped a bunch. And I'm not really pulling any leads from LinkedIn. Most of my leads come from Facebook. But what has helped me, because my niche is a lot different, is when people need something in the divorce arena, they go out and Google. So I need to be in the Google space. And so I'm on my school's platform where I was certified, and it lists the states where I felt that I could drive to or get to rather quickly. And so I am now in the process of adding all of the states and moving out into the Canada region on the site. But those are the states that are calling me, and that's how I'm getting my lead generations. That and some of this did come from LinkedIn, making referral partners and getting to know them and sending them leads has helped them send me leads. So I'm getting leads and referrals from attorneys and from CDFAs at this point.
John?
I've been using LinkedIn and also 𝗖𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗁. 𝗖𝗵𝘁𝗁 is North American, and it's basically a kind of a version like LinkedIn. There's now 9 million people on it, and there's a lot of people, depending on who your niche is. For example, on there, they've got over 10,000 coaches. They've got over 10,000 financial planners, over 10,000 insurance agents. There's virtually a category for every type of business. Now, the one thing with 𝗖𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗁 is they want you to create relationships and not sell your product. 𝗖𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗁 and I have a slight challenge over that, because they want the ambassadors to push their program, but they don't want us to sell. So I tell them they're like the politicians, one set of rules for them and one set of rules for me. And I actually talked to a couple of their top people, and I voiced my opinion. It wasn't appreciated by a couple, but some of the others it was. Now, will any changes come out of it? That I don't know. But the big thing is to be consistent in whatever you're doing. If you do it once and put it aside, you're not going to get any results. You got to be consistent. And I'm a great one for that LinkedIn, for the birthdays, the anniversaries, what have you. That is a really great source. You got to be where your prospects and clients are. You can't go just because you like Facebook and they're on LinkedIn. You're not going to find them. You have to go where they are. And that's your big thing. So, everybody on here has had some really great tips to follow. So thank you.
I'll give you something else that works within the LinkedIn environment. I appreciate where you're coming from, Tina, when you're talking about your specific area, but the one thing that Facebook has over LinkedIn is their groups are far more effectively used than LinkedIn. But within the LinkedIn environment, because they are pretty stale and they're not, well, how do you say this? The LinkedIn group environment is very formalized. It's not conversational. It's not a lot of authenticity in there. There's a lot of information and people trying to impress each other and all that sort of stuff, right? However, if you're within a LinkedIn group environment, the one thing that I have found extremely valuable is to actually make the guy who set the group up feel good. Go to his posts, okay? Make him feel good. Give him a memorable experience of the thoughts you have on the post that he makes or she makes, whatever it may be, right? And in doing that, that's all you have to do. That's all I've ever done within the LinkedIn group environment. I'm in 11 LinkedIn groups. I'm going to bring that back to 7. I'm going to get out of 4 of them, okay? And within those groups there, every single group, the guy or lady who set that group up, I now have a very good connection with, an extremely close connection with. And we will chat on a fairly regular basis. And that's all because I did that. And I know that if I needed some help in any way, shape or form, I simply have to ask them. We are in the people business, and you got to think, you play the long game, don't play the short game when it comes to this aspect. That's what I'm trying to say to you, right? And I know that that for me, I feel very comfortable in reaching out to Tina, who may be the person who set up one of the particular groups I'm in on LinkedIn, saying, Tina, I'd like to have a chat with you. Can I leave you my conversation link? I need to share some ideas with you because I value your input and your expertise. Nobody has said no to that. Nobody has said no. And when I get on a call with Tina, I share with her, look, this is my situation right now. What would you do if you were me? X, Y, and Z. Okay. And as it was said earlier, if we give back, Tina, you mentioned this before, if you give back to people in terms of referral partners, that's what I'm doing in a way as well. But I want to help them by giving back to them if they help and give back to me.
So, and I guess I didn't even realize that there were groups on LinkedIn. You know, I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, and I just put my post up and communicate with the people that I work with. And I didn't even realize there were groups on LinkedIn like there is in Facebook. Now, Facebook, I'm not in the groups because they don't help me. And there's rules inside there. It's just, it's beyond. And that's not where I pull up the people. The people that come in to me from Facebook are not coming into me directly usually. Well, I can't say that. They do. They make referrals to family members or close friends is how that happens. And then they will come in and say, hey, I'm a friend of yours and I need to put you in contact with my sister. And so they'll introduce us that way. And that's how I'm pulling the people off of there. And I have learned that my posts in LinkedIn need to be very business-like, and my posts in Facebook need to be more friendly, more like I'm talking to my friends and family members. So they need to be more friendly when I make those. So I take the same post that I'm putting up on LinkedIn because I write that one first, and then I just alter it. Or what I've been doing is I'll take that post and I'll turn it into a video and I put that on there. And the followers on Facebook are more apt to watch my little short videos than they are to read everything that I have to write. And so that's how they're getting to know me as a person. And oddly enough, I do it on TikTok as well. I have a following, and it surprised me. I went into a local pub for dinner one night and I got these young girls come up and say, oh, you're la 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 la. And I was like, whoa. So I had no clue because people on TikTok are not liking things like they are on Facebook and LinkedIn. So that was kind of a shock. There's way more people watching you than you have a clue.
By the way, Tina, food for thought, within the LinkedIn environment, I hear what you say about TikTok. Within the LinkedIn environment, most of the groups are private groups, not public. Most of them are private, all right? They're easy to join. They're easy to find. You just go into the search and find it, right? And put in the keyword, you'll find a group that relates to it, the same as Facebook. All I'm saying to you is within this formalized networking environment called LinkedIn with 1 billion people there, all I'm saying is stand out. And the way to stand out is to be conversational. And the way to be conversational is to be yourself. Do not be so formal. Keep it conversational. Show that you are being a real person. Show that you are imperfect. And if you do that, automatically people will relate to you and resonate with. That's all I'm saying to you. You don't have to try and impress anyone with your knowledge or your length of experience. People don't give a rat's. They don't care how long you've been in business.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I get most of the engagement from the posts that are more like that. So because my husband just recently died, I've used that, what I've gone through, because that's basically the same when you lose a spouse to divorce. There's all kinds of the similar things. There's the depression and there's the brain fog and there's all of that. And so I've used my personal story to help, share the story of what they're going through, telling them that I'm going through it. And so they've been watching me over the time frame since my husband died and into the fact that I got into a brand new home this last weekend. And so I've used that. And so you are definitely right about how letting them see who I really am and my mistakes and flaws and things. That is where the majority of my engagement comes from.
Absolutely. And my condolences to you, Tina, okay?
Thank you.
Grief is an incredible thing. I know exactly where you're coming from. My wife passed away more than 2 years ago, and I'm still going through that process. So I respect
John has
you.
been a huge help with me. He's been my biggest support, literally my biggest support through this whole thing. He messages me no less than 2 times a day, morning and night.
Well, I'll put my hand up. You've done the same thing for me. Thank you, John. Thank you. Any other comment? Mark, you got your hand up.
Just want to say really quick, there's 7 of us on this call, right? Let's just say we all have 1,000 followers. I know some of you got a bazillion more or something less. Do you realize, like John and I, we repost each other's stuff. Peter and I repost each other's stuff. That's leverage. You don't have to spend money on ads unless you just don't want to do the work. So everything we've been talking about, Peter, the group, is leverage. You know people, I don't, and vice versa. We have no idea who's going to see this video in the future and who they know. So this is powerful leverage. And one other thing really quick, Peter, this has driven me insane for I don't know how many years. I do not understand why these platforms that sell advertising don't hire an expert like you or John or Jeff to show people how to write effective advertising. They don't. If I run an ad and it fails, I'm not coming back. But if I learned how to write a headline, a what's in it for me headline, to do lead generation, my ads start becoming profitable, I'm going to stick around. They don't do it. To me, it's criminal. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. If I could pick a guy like John's brain, I'd put him on a commission, say, John, you can keep all the back-end business you get. Just teach a workshop that we can give away as a free bonus to anybody that runs an ad. You got a 30-minute thing and a 90-minute thing. If they run more than one ad, they get the 90-minute thing free. And I guarantee you they would start getting more business. No offense. Dr. Annika, people that are professional have a tendency to be brilliant in what they do, but maybe not necessarily in advertising market. You'd be the perfect type of people. We'd have a specific workshop, how professionals write advertisement that generates results. And it's a free giveaway. Let me stop. But Peter, you get my drift. They should be educating their customers on how to use direct response, how to write ads, how to use PSs, all this stuff. They don't. It's criminal. You see all these gurus all over LinkedIn? They're telling people how to get your profile correct, how to do that. LinkedIn should be doing that. They should be letting outside people doing that. I'm off my soapbox, but I just had to put that out there.
Look, food for thought here. Jeffrey talked about the importance of podcasts, okay, which I totally agree with. Tina, you have a podcast, right?
Yes.
Annika was talking about within Sweden, there are certain things you can do and you can't do. All these things are true. What I'm suggesting you do is this. And Jeff, you mentioned the fact that AI is a huge factor for you, okay? I agree, but AI is not new. It's been around for a long time, right? It's just ChatGPT is the newest version of it, so to speak. But it's been, I mean, think of Grammarly. That's AI anyway. It's been around for years, right? What I'm saying to you all is this. Whatever you use to create your visibility on social media, okay, do me a favor. Go into ChatGPT, okay, and you can actually simply upload a little file that it may be just 2 or 3 paragraphs or whatever you're going to post about, and ask ChatGPT this very simple prompt. Create for me 10 attention-grabbing, curiosity-driven titles for the attached file. Okay, let it do it for you. Let it do it for you. And you pick the one that you feel represents you most, and then go to a place called subjectline.com. It's free. Subjectline.com. It's aimed at emails, but don't fool yourself. It actually gives you the best title you can use for a video or for a post or for a podcast episode or whatever you want. Subjectline.com. Then use that as the heading for your particular post. That's what I'm suggesting you do. All right. The other thing is this: if you're doing a lot of video posts, and I think if you're not doing that, you should, then go to a place called 𝗩𝗶𝗿𝗁𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗶, 𝗩𝗶𝗿𝗁𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗂𝗔. It's free. It's free, right? You get 3 episodes a day. If you want more than that, you got to pay for it. And ask them to transcribe your video. So you've got a video, then you've got the transcription, and you can make the transcription into a post. So you can repurpose. All these things are ways of driving and getting new lead generation options. That's what I'm saying to you. I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Food for thought. Anything else before we go? Because time's up.
Yeah,
Anything?
I got one, Peter. Some of you guests may not know. Are you all familiar down the bottom here in Zoom in AI Companion? Because once you hit AI Companion, it'll give you an awesome transcript and everything you've done and the main key points. And all you do, like what we do, we just put it on a letterhead and send it back to the client, and they think we're wonderful.
Yep, good point. Good point. Do you allow people's AI companion to join on the Zoom call like this?
I run it at my end. If it's my session, I run it and I send everybody a copy.
No, but if people are joining with their AI, are you allowing that?
Their Phantom and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I knock it out.
Okay, and what's the reason for that?
I just don't like it on the screen. If I'm going to talk to you and I don't want to talk to John, I want to see me and John. That's all I want. And I hate it when there's a blank up there saying Phantom or Otto or. So I just knock it. And not only that, because the AI is invisible, but the other ones are not, and they're a bit off-putting because you didn't ask my permission or whatever. So just the AI companion, just for me, is bloody sensational because it covers the key points, and I send it back to the client or potential client after the meeting and say, you said you're interested in joining Jeff's group. You said you want to do this. You said you want to learn more about LinkedIn. So it recaps all the key points.
Well, yeah. Well,
do you want me to show you this week or next week? Do you want me to show you the screen and show you a copy?
No, I know what you're talking about. Do other people know what you're talking about? Because I use it. Anyone else use it? Because it is a very classy. Zoom got this bit right. Zoom got this bit right. A very classy, almost 100% perfect in terms of the transcript. Almost. Very clever. Well done. Thanks, Jeff. Great tip. Anything else before we go?
I think this was a great call. There was a lot of great stuff shared. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks all.
All right.
Doctor, reach out to Tina. Sorry, Peter. Reach out to Tina. Get on her podcast. It can help you get your message out to North America and parts of Europe as well. Before we finish, and Tina, with your podcast, when people approach you for a podcast, do you think about your audience before you think about accepting them as a potential guest?
I do. The way that I do that is I talk with you. You may have a story that's related to either divorce or abuse or narcissism. And so we open up that conversation with that story. If you don't have one, but what you do is going to be able to help anybody that's going through that, then I use a story related to your work, and then we talk about that to begin with, and then we just segue into your work. Like everything that you guys do here could definitely benefit the people because a lot of them are coming out of their wanting to start their own businesses or needing to start some business. And especially with Dr. Annika, what you're doing, all of my clients could benefit from what you're doing. So you would be a very good fit for everything. But everybody else, we would turn the story of something into your work. That's what I did with John and plan to do again with John.
I'll find you on LinkedIn, Tina.
I actually friended all of you guys except for Peter. Okay. I didn't get Peter friended on LinkedIn yet.
Okay. Then I friend you back.
How can you friend me on LinkedIn? I don't know how to do that.
Well, it's not friend, it's just connect.
I'm being naughty.
Yeah, I knew I said, when I said friend, I'm like, oh, that was a wrong word.
Okay.
And now I
Okay.
connected with
That's what we are, right?
Right, right.
Okay. By the way, I look forward to hearing what happened when you do the podcast with Anita. Tina, make sure you tag all of us on that post.
You bet.
All right. So then we can then Mark mentioned earlier, one of the key things is leverage, right? Let's leverage each other. If we're talking about lead
Yes.
generation, there's a simple way of doing it, for God's sake, right?
Yeah.
And the more you can do it, the more conversation you can make it, the more you can be your imperfect self, the better it's going to be. That's the whole theme of what this has been about today. So,
yeah.
Oh,
thank you
awesome.
guys very, very much.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.